Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bagging Down at Stockmarketcaddie, and today is December 23rd at about noon. And the market's been a really tight range. But first thing, I just want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. We're still a couple of days away, and hope you are having a good day, period. And then, secondly, a good day in the markets. At the moment, we're suffering a drawdown. That's okay. This is the one trade. I made a mechanical decision to get short the market leading up into the holiday here. I'm going to stay with it. I'm only on 5 micros. I'm suffering a draw, and but my and it probably was not the right decision. The program has done really well, and I thought I would do better just sitting tight. Um, but the program that we had earlier. Had I stayed with it, my thought was that that we could be in a really tight range going into the holiday, and that I might do better. So it is what it is. You're looking at Swing Machine. It is not possible to trade without a draw. It is not possible, to trade from winning trade to winning trade, and have your market go from peak to peak to peak. That's not possible. So unless of course you're buying gold and silver every morning. Unreal. Silver up again, $2, cresting over 70. Nobody wants to be short gold. Nobody wants to be short silver. No, they don't. And they're just capitulating and buying it up. The other thing is you're going to have the brokers, and their clients are going to say, "Hey, I mean, gold has doubled this year, and silver's done even more than that. I mean, how come I'm not in it?" So they're going to do a little of that. They're going to do some window dressing and get them in there too. Absolutely remarkable. Swing Machine. Let's take a look at Swing Machine. The VIX on a 5 minute has been short since 9:40 this morning. The ES on a 5 minute at 9:45 goes along and sits there. I mean, this thing is barely moving, right? Barely moving. Um, $600 though. How about the NQ? The NQ 1025 long, 1800. So it's very uncomfortable for me to be mechanically short and to see Swing Machine doing its thing. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Not going to break the bank. The Dow, 10 a.m. long, 10 a.m. 395. The Russell short. That's the speculative market too, right? That's kind of a risk on, risk off asset in and of itself. And they are risk off at 620, you'd be up 650. How about gold? Just get long gold. Every single buying opportunity on gold, just buy the dot. I'm joking a little bit here, right? You don't have all the tools set, and I'm not. But at 11:55, just 5-10 minutes ago, and you're up 380 bucks. How about this one? Silver 1110, 1110. Just get long, $4,200. Is that not crazy? Huh? Now, we like to keep it on the NQ, but we have multiple markets that we can trade, and we do trade multiple markets, usually 5 to 7 markets. And then oil is not doing anything but up 40, and then Bitcoin, folks, I don't know. Um, the Bitcoiners are in the whole crypto space. Wouldn't it be something if this time next year crypto is down 80 and 90%? It's possible. And everyone says, "What the hell was that?" Yeah, that was a bubble and a spurious sell. Folks, we don't suggest, we don't, I don't, we're not trying to sell the idea or the concept to everybody that you should be a trader. We don't. Mm-mm. This has got to be something you want to do. and you got to have a passion and a desire to do it. If you do, we think we can help you around the edges to become more mechanical and more robotic in your approach. And hopefully, it will save you some time, save you some capital, save you some frustration, and enable you to get to where you want to go. So we're going to let you watch. I'm not going to bend your ear. We're going to let you watch right up until about 1 o'clock, and then we're going to turn down. So if there's any questions, just populate them in, and I will even put a note in here. Any questions, just let us know. Bag it on. Have fun, everybody. We'll be nearby. We'll let you watch. Again, we'll say good afternoon to everybody. This is Bagger. It is December 23rd at about 12:13. This is the same mechanical trade that I put on. We suspended the strategy. I thought it might be better. Turned out not to be the case. We would have done much, much better had I let the strategy continue. But I did what I did. It's only 5 micros. I'm just more comfortable um, here and now being short than being long. We are suffering a little bit of a draw. Swing Machine's having a nice morning, but we punch up. We're not trying to prove an outcome. We're not. We're not trying to suggest that everyone should do this. You can't trade without draws. You can't trade without an individual loss. This isn't going to break the bank. And but we'll punch up, good or bad. When we punch up, when I say punch up, I'm talking about going live on YouTube. And it's really your opportunity to ask any questions about what we're doing. Hey, Frederick. Merry Christmas to you, Frederick, as well. Happy holidays. Frederick, I hope you know, at the moment, we're not live on the members' website, but we have been, we did activate the live tab on the members' website. So I know you had asked about that. So as soon as this comes down on YouTube, we will punch that back up on the members' website. But good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Awesome. Very, very good. And we're still experimenting and thinking about how we'll approach that, next year. Um, but it will. Our plan is to punch up that live view on Sunday and have that live view running probably 95, 96, 97% of the time right through Friday. And it could be running any number of things and looking at any number of things. But if folks who are annual members want to punch in and take a peek, they can. Um, and that's the plan. At the moment, it's coming down it, when we go on YouTube, and we're going to try to keep our YouTube sessions. They're going to have to be, especially after the first of the year. We got a lot on our plate, but to the middle part of the day for about an hour, and maybe and most likely not every day. So we're just kind of sharing that word with everybody. But the live session on the members page will be, you know, 24 5.5, 96 97. Occasionally we may have to take something down to reboot or something along those lines. And it may not be dressed up like this too. It may be just a hard view. Excuse me. But I hope you're doing well in Europe, and here in the States, everybody is, well, here in Florida, it's absolutely beautiful today. Beautiful time of the year. Probably about 72, 73 degrees every day. Cool at night, and probably in the 60s, 50s, high 50s, and blue, blue sky. Any questions, you let us know. Anything you need, Frederick. we have members, and they're ecstatic in that have accumulated silver in the futures market, but also in the ETF market of with SLV and others, but that have cost basis of silver when silver was trading at 22 and 23. And we always said this. You got to be very very careful with this. There's really no at this point. Silver and gold are in new ground, and there's there's no resistance up here. There's none. And other than if they can manufacture it by increasing the margin and so forth, they can do that sort of thing, and they ultimately will. But it has got no, there's no resistance, and gold can do this. It can move 50, $100 a day, day after day after day. Silver, once it cleared that 50, 51, 52, it's going to go right with it now. And I'm not into kind of projecting, targeting numbers and so forth. But I just want you to know, um, I remember when the gold made its run from 1500 to 2000. It did it in a matter of a couple of weeks. Boom, 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 and it hit it. Could gold get to 5,000 by the end of the year? Yeah, it could. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, this thing, there isn't anybody that's going to want to be short this thing. And silver, I mean, look at what it's doing. This is day after day after day. Um, I mean, I don't think silver can get to 100 by the end of the year. I don't think that's going to happen. But is silver on its way to 100? I think so. I think so. And higher? I think so. Now, that all said, if you got into silver below 25, you've got a lot more insulation to weather, trading pullbacks, right? Do you remember when silver, first got up over 50 and everyone was like, oh, it's topping out. And then it came back to like 40. If I remember, well, it actually did it a couple times. It did it like at 48. And then when it got to 60, it did the same thing. It pulled back to like 58, 57. And then boom, they bought it right up and away we go. I mean, so, and then although I'm not sure that this thing's going to pull back by the end of the year because I just wouldn't want to be. I always put myself in these trades when you think about it. I mean, would anybody want to be short these two markets? Right? I mean, there are other markets too that you just wouldn't want to be short in. Um, Not even for 5 minutes on silver. Jesus. I mean, look at silver. I mean, at 11:10, it goes long futures contract. It's $4,300. This is today. This is today. If you win at 10:40 on a 1 minute, 7,000 gold. Now, what does this mean? It's really going to be interesting next year, because we're going to know. We're probably going to know sometime in the first quarter. Um, Somebody knows something. Hmm? I'm also seeing that the Chinese yuan is trading stronger than the American dollar. What does that mean? So, any case, leave that to others. We don't really ask why. Um, we're not looking for a narrative. I mean, we're human beings, so that's the way our minds work. So, but it's not the way that we trade. It just isn't. In hindsight, it will all appear to be rational. I don't even rational is not even a great word. I guess I mean, it'll be what it'll be. It will say, okay, well, those guys knew whatever was is coming, and we'll learn from it. We do know that through decades and in years of trading experience, that usually gold and silver, when they run like this, usually it is signaling some sort of economic um, recession, pullback, an economic one in the economy of the states, anyways. And so we'll see. But in the meantime, congratulations to those that are along, and have fun. If you are getting involved, I would just don't go push the button and put your entire 401k into gold or silver. Time to have done that was when silver was below 25, and we absolutely have folks that did it. We absolutely do, because I've talked to them and heard from them. Now they're doing some things. Some are selling some covered calls, but even then, I'm cautioning is like, don't sometimes people, retail traders, or I don't want to say traders even, or investors, they have a tendency to sometimes like, wow, it can't go any higher. I better try to pick the top. Well, you can't pick the top. So sometimes the best thing is just leave it alone and let the bitch run and let it run. Where you want to lean on is killing your dogs, especially here at the end of the year when you can take the tax loss, unless it's in a retirement account and then you don't have the need. But it's all deferred here in the states. Um, but I would lean more on cutting your losses and letting in general, this is in general, even for an investor, and let them run. And don't and all of a sudden, if you bought gold and silver, a year or two ago or years ago, um, don't and you just did it, and you didn't listen to a whole bunch of podcasts, and you just sat on it and you felt comfortable doing it, just stay with that. Don't start listening to a whole bunch of podcast people, you know, projecting where it's going to necessarily, including me, where it might go and everything else. Because the truth of the matter is, nobody really knows. I mean, when I look at Bitcoin, and I say Bitcoin at $87,000 a coin, whatever the hell it is, it's not even a coin. It's not even, it's just, I don't know. It's a digital something. It's not, obviously it's not digital gold. I mean, because gold's gone straight up and Bitcoin's gone straight down. I mean, so you can't call it digital gold. Digital trap, maybe. Um, so, but maybe one day it will. I don't know. But when I see, Bitcoin at 87, I mean, I'm not forecasting this, and there are forces at work that would try to prevent this, but could gold go to 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, 30,000? Yeah, I think it could. I think it could. I mean, considering what we've done, and is this the governor? Is this what's gonna, pull, you know, finally put the brakes? Although it appears as the market's running. I mean, well, Don, the market's running. Yeah, it is, but the market is, I think, pretty vulnerable. Gold and silver are looking really, really strong. I mean, check this out. Let's put gold on a daily. Let's look at this. It's crazy. How about you want an hourly view? 51 hours ago, 14 grand. Merry Christmas. Wow. It's trading at 43.60. She's trading at 4,500. I mean, you just that's how about silver? This is gonna take your breath away. What? Look at this. 57 hours ago, 27 grand. One. 27 grand. Hmm. Let's put it on a daily. 85 days ago. 85 days ago. $100,000. 104 to be exact. Silver. Don't puke. 150 days ago. 180 at 35. Now, this is gospel true. Okay, I have a member who had put retirement monies, significant retirement monies, into gold below 2000, or when it was trading around 17, 18, and gold was running. And this member, back when silver was trading at about 21 to 22, did in fact ask me, should they be getting more long gold? And they told me the amount. So I probably would just sit on that, and I would start getting silver. And I educated them about the gold silver ratio. I said, because if you're bullish gold, silver is going to go. I don't know why it isn't going, but it's going to go. They did. I'm not going to tell you the amounts, but it's significant. When they went to place, they have a broker. When they went to place the order, the broker tried to talk them out of it. They didn't listen, fortunately, and they went ahead and did it. When silver hit 35, the broker calls them. Never calls to sell shares of stock, but calls them and says, hey, you better get out of silver. This is the place to get out. They told him, no, thank you. Do you know that this person spoke to their broker a couple of weeks ago? And you know what they said? We're getting our other clients into silver, when it was like at 65. Do, you know that happens, right? But that is absolutely factual. I even jokingly said to the person, I said, well, that might be the trigger that the top is in. What's happening is this. This is an illegal thing, but it happens. At the end of a quarter, particularly at the end of the year, because these brokers and brokers who manage individual, the so-called wealth managers. You ever talk to somebody and this, I got my wealth manager. It's a boutique broker. They got all these little names. Oh, wealth manager. Whew. Oh man. Whew, boy, that guy must be really important. He's got a wealth manager. Well, he doesn't have just a broker. He's got a boutique broker. Boutique. Ooh, sounds high class, right? Special. You can't get one of those. Oh my God. So, but what these boutique brokers will do, and these wealth managers will do, besides going shopping and playing golf for, day after day. I mean, they really don't. They don't know shit, right? They really don't. They don't know. They don't know whether to wind their ass or scratch their watch. But what they do know is their clients will look at their statements at the end of a quarter. And they have other clients, maybe a whole ton of them, that don't look at their statements until the end of the calendar year. So I'm up on this, and what do I have? So knowing that, the brokers, the boutique brokers, and the so-called wealth managers, they will do something called window dress. It's illegal. Not supposed to do it, but they all do it. And what they'll do just what this broker did. He didn't want to buy silver below 25. He was actually recommending to this member not to do it. And he was recommending at 35 to get out of it. But now, because silver and gold are going to be two of the top performing, markets this year, he's putting his clients into it now. Because in January, he knows that those clients are going to open up their statements and going to say, geez, what did I do? Okay, well, All right. Well, has he got me in any gold? Yeah, he's got me in some gold and he got me in some silver. Okay. Well, he must be really good. Okay. He's good. I love the other one too. They're really conservative. Oh God. Run for the hills. But the good news here is, um, if you have a modicum of trading education, just a little bit, and you have some objective tools, you don't need me. You don't need a Borker. You don't need the Wall Street Journal. You don't need Fortune Magazine. You don't need Peter Schiff. You don't need anybody. You can come in and look and see what's going on. And I get news for you. Silver on a daily, even at 71, it is extended, but it can go higher. It can go higher, and so can gold. It's getting extended. We're getting ripe for a pullback, but because of the calendar year too, you may not get it. Now, you've got to hold your wealth, right? You've got to gain ground in whole ground, and there are some things that you can do. You can capture the profit in the gold and silver as an example if you own the GLD and the SLV as markers for gold and silver. You don't technically own any gold and silver, but you're tracking it basically. And there are some option strategies that you can do to capture that profit should it pull back without you actually having to sell it. I'll just leave it at that. But congratulations, Merry Christmas to those. And how about this? You want to see some? Let's go look at the weekly view on gold. There you go. 111 weeks ago at 2317, and you're up 218 grand. 218. How about this one? Silver. You ready? 94 weeks ago, 210. 145%. And then the monthly, there we go. Pretty much the same time frame. All right, so we're going to slide this back though to a 5 minute view because this view and what we're doing, I mean, if we were to, just do a YouTube video on the monthly, it'd be like, okay, we made more money today. We made more, there's nothing to see or do. But but we're active traders and we're also investors, right? Susie and I are investors too. Um, but it's just that we're also traders, right? You don't have to be all one thing or only one thing. You can be diversified, not necessarily in what you're holding, but diversified in what you're able to do. That calls for some learning. I'm sorry, but you actually have to apply yourself. So you've got to learn, got to become aware of what it is you don't know, and then set up a structure to learn how to do it. Go slow, you know, incremental, and then apply it, and then get disciplined and do it again and again. But I got to tell you, if 1 year ago you were listening to the Bitcoin crowd and the Pomplianos, the Pumpers, the Pomps, and Michael Saylor, I know who all those people are. I hear them, I see them on the social media and holding their little conferences down in Miami with all the pretty girls and the cosmopolitan drinkers and all the jet set and oh it's gonna be $1 million a coin. And if that isn't enough alone to I don't know about what it is about Miami to signal that you've got a bubble. I forget to tell this story. This is a true story. Back around 2006, yeah, it's 2006. We were shorting. We were early, but we knew it to be a bubble, the real estate, and and I was at I had to be in Miami. I forget what it was, but it had nothing to do with the markets. And I was staying at an embassy suite um, in Fort Lauderdale, and they gave you like a breakfast. So I go down there on a Saturday morning. I remember calling Susie. This is on a Saturday morning, and there's just a ton of people um, there, and they're not getting ready to go on a cruise. They're in these workshops. So around the perimeter of the embassy suites where you have a breakfast, they got like about, I don't know, 15, 20 breakout rooms. And there's all these people coming in, and they don't look, I hate to be judgmental, but they don't, it's not, they're not checking into the Fontainebleau Hotel. And they're not even checking in. They just go into these breakout sessions. And I'm thinking like, what in the hell's going on? And I start walking around and I ask, and it's different people. It's not all one thing, and it's different people, and they're putting on these workshops. Do you know what it was? Any guesses? Real estate. They were putting on real estate seminars, and it was right around that time too. Well, shortly thereafter, that Trump was getting involved in, the real estate education. That you too can be a billionaire like the Trumper, and they were all buying. It was the height of the speculation, and I went room to room, and then I remember I called Susie and I said, on Monday, short more. I absolutely did. She's like, okay. I said, Susie, this thing is a bubble. I mean, and you had folks that were taking these seminars, and they just had no, it was obvious they just had no capital, but they were, and I listened to a little bit of it. It was gross. It was around 2006. Of course, the real estate bubble didn't bust until '08 and took them all out. Bitcoin, crypto, maybe, may have another year or two to go. Could I see a reversal? Could I see gold at 20,000, 30,000, and Bitcoin at 5,000? Yeah, I could. Well, no, I'm not forecasting it, but what a shift that would be. I'm Bag of Dawn. This is Stock Market Caddy. I wish everyone a very Merry Christmas. We're going to let you watch, and but if there's any questions, let me know. And I'm going to come back in about 10 or 15 minutes to address those questions, and then we will need to break away. And when we do, this will go back up live on our annual members website. Okay, everyone. It is 1 o'clock. I want to wish everyone a very nice Merry Christmas. We won't be up tomorrow, and but we hope you're getting it done with whatever it is you're doing. Frederick, um, this link will be up in a moment on. We may have to reboot it, but it'll be up in a moment on the members webpage. So if you want to watch and see how the trade is staying on, we're staying short, and these 5 micros suffering a little bit of a drawdown. Everyone else, again, have a wonderful Christmas Eve, great Christmas. We'll be the markets. I don't know. I have to check the holiday schedule, but we won't be trading on Christmas. Although I wouldn't be surprised the futures are open a little bit on Christmas. I wouldn't be surprised. They'll be certainly open the day before, and then of course next week. The volumes are light during the holiday period. So there's an old saying: don't get short in a big way. Or you can always use options and define risk. A short, a boring, or a low volume market. Um, there's usually a tendency for this sort of thing for an up market, but we have still seen sell-offs around Christmas. We have, and around New Year's. There's another old saying, there's a lot of sayings around the market, but particularly the first week of January. I think I tend to like this one. It's a anecdotal, but as the first week of January goes, so goes the year. So we got a lot of pent-up profits, in the indices and in the Nasdaq, and that the retail crowd, many won't want to sell before the end of the year because they don't want to have to, pay the tax bite in April. So as soon as we get over the hurdle of the calendar year, a lot of times you can see some fast profit taking, and it can accelerate. It can act as an accelerant. They still got to pay the tax, but it's deferred. They won't have to pay it in April. They'll have to pay it in April of the following year. I think there's something to that. If the market begins to sniff that out, sometimes the sharks, us, might play it get a little ahead of them. But and so a lot of times what you see here at the end of the year, you see things that are working continue to work and work very, very well. You'll see some maybe moderating, and that might be the stuff that's going to pull back, like the Russell and so forth. But so that's why gold and silver, you have a tendency to see it continuing to run with the window dressing and whatnot. And then the other stuff that hasn't worked, stocks that like an Iron Mountain or something else, picking on that stock, a lot of times the folks, what they'll do is they'll say, well, go ahead and sell it. And they got to give it about 30 days time, but they'll say, hey, we'll book the losses in this calendar year, and then we can always turn around and buy it again, that sort of thing. I'm not suggesting that's a good idea. I'm not giving anybody tax advice. My only, not really advice, but suggestion is to get diversified in what you're capable of doing. Do that. And here, Susan and I never make an investment decision or a trading decision alone based on money, greed, and fear, nor on the tax. The tax is unavoidable, death and taxes. It's a cost of doing business. Now, if I can, a legal avoidance, or delay it, that sort of thing, sure, around the edges, but I'm not going to forego, a decision. If I think something is going down and I want to book profits, or, I'm going to book it. It's not going to, the tax is the tax. I don't even think about it. It's just a cost of doing business. That makes sense? All right. We are going to need to turn YouTube down. I want to say thank you for everyone that came by. Annual members, give us a moment or two. We're going to reboot. We will bring this view back up on the members website, and it'll be there, um, right through Christmas probably. If the markets are open, it'll be open. Thank you, thank you all. Have a very wonderful Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody.